How you doing today, folks? Welcome to Red Wolf EDC. Now, in today's video, we're going to talk about my EDC for January 2022 and on, and also, more importantly, why I carry what I carry. Now, to be very clear, why you carry what you carry in many ways doesn't really matter. Personally, you can carry and use and abuse and love whatever you want to love. This is just my own personal philosophy of use, my own personal reasoning. It might make sense to you. It might not. We're going to go into three different categories, right? We're going to go into the almighty question mark when you don't know what the fuck you're going to get into. We're going to go to the everyday, just the normal casual stuff, like the odds of anything bad happening are really, really small. And we're going to go into the times in which you think there is a distinctive chance there might be fucking trouble. And then most importantly, we're going to go into the times in which it's just fun. You just relax, just enjoy yourself and be stupid. Now, for me personally, beyond anything else, variety is very much the spice of life. So as you saw in the screenshot, as well as a little clip in the beginning of the video, there's a lot of knives here. There's probably 30 different things here, lights, flashlights, freaking EDC gear. And every single thing here serves a purpose in some way, shape, or form. But without further ado, let's get into it. So every day for the last couple of years, right, I have carried a folder, I've carried a fixed blade, I've carried a light, I've carried a pen, and I've carried just some random miscellaneous crap that's never really consistent. And by that, I mean I might carry one of these things, which is the Artisan Cutlery Kinetic. It's basically an auto ballast song. I might carry a Leatherman, just random miscellaneous things that is just good to have. Now, as far as an actual folder, for the most part, I like to gravitate towards the middle end. So not anything super high custom, not anything budget either, and also kind of like the middle spectrum of the size. So basically, I can open this knife like this and cut a package or cut whatever the case may be, and nobody goes, ah! But I can also go like that and just get into it. For that, the Something Obscene Co. J-Cape is really, really good. But there are also times when I'm on a job site to where I know I'm not going to reliably have, a free hand. I mean, to be fair, you don't need a free hand to open this knife, but the logic behind it is kind of just that. Only one hand to open a knife. And then you have to close it. You're like, oh, God. Then you get inventive. But the logic behind it is if I'm doing a pallet job or whatever, if I'm in some really precarious ass situation to where I can't quite reach myself normally. Again, there'd be better ways to do it anyways, but I'll just pull this out. Great knife, S45EN steel, little sprint run. Fantastic. This is the ProTech, I believe it's the TR3 in the fish scale pattern. Yes, TR3. I also have what I would consider to be my budget-ish category. These are still what I would consider to be premium steels, premium quality, but I didn't pay a lot for them. This is a Tucson. I'm not familiar with the actual model, but I carry this whenever I want a knife to just be able to beat on. It also still has those premium fit and finishes. And if it breaks or if it gets damaged, I care, but I don't care all that much. Now, beyond all that, there's also just the fun factor, right? I also have big ass hands and I like big ass knives. So I carry the Max Ace knives, Goliath in either one of these two configurations. Whenever I just want basically a folding sword. And also the ergonomics on these knives are absolutely insane. This has 0 hot spots. So if I really want to bear down and work with something, these are one of those knives that I always turn to. Now, we definitely have other folders, right? But let's break this down to the actual philosophy of use. So I live in Stockton, California. People get shot here all the time. People get mugged or robbed or beat up or jumped. It's part of life in the city. So a few different things, right, that I like to do is under certain environments, if you carry a knife, right, it's really, really obvious, someone's going to see that as a test. So for those environments, I will like to carry something like this, which is the Bastinelli. I'm actually not familiar with the name. The Mako, I believe it's called. Yeah, the Bastinelli Mako. It's very cool. If things do hit the fan, it's a full blade, kind of a karambit style to it. This is more about slashing and stabbing downwards and ice picking gripping, but it'll definitely still work. But the more important thing about it is that it is designed to basically disappear. This knife does not print on you at all. And it's also not that expensive. That's one of the key pieces to it all. If you're ever going to be in a little bit of hell, you want it to be cheap. I mean, you don't want it to break on you, but like if I ever, for example, have to defend myself with this knife, I can either choose to A, run and maybe keep it, or B, submit it to the cops, and that's done. Whenever I'm in a situation like that, I will carry like this knife, which is just a little shitty ass Schrade. I have quite a few of these, to be clear. Also, whenever you get robbed, which it's not happened too many times in Stockton, but it does happen. It has happened to me a few times as well. I've gotten out of a few. I fought out of one, to be clear, just one. I ran like a bitch through 3 or 4, and the other ones, I was like, hey, you got me, and I gave it up. So something like this, which doesn't really print too much, you can theoretically get away with not actually showing it. But I could be like, hey, here's this, here's this, here's this, and here's this. If I give up this knife, which I've given up before, this is the third one of these I've actually gotten, I don't care. This is like $20. It's not a great knife. It'll work. It'll cut things. But in that situation, it is 100% viable. And if things go really, really bad, I mean, it'll do something, I guess, but not really the whole purpose of it. Now, everything else here is just that kind of just want to hang out thing, man. You just want to be yourself. You want to relax. You want to be cool. For me, I love this freaking Tor Knives Cryptia. Now, it had a really, really sharp point on the end originally, and I have ground this down, but it just fits in hand really, really well. I actually don't carry this with a clip on it. It literally just goes into my actual belt, which is, I don't know, kind of like an old samurai where you just put it into the actual sash around your waist. For me, it's comfortable. I like it. If I was a little bit fatter, I would probably hate it. As it is, I'm just fat enough to where like it's still kind of uncomfortable, but it works. And then it also has something like this, which is the Bastinelli Knives Pica. This is a really, really small knife. Because the way it's designed, though, it does fit my hands, though it is really, really close. If you look at it right here, my pinky is actually on the edge, but it's right here on this piece right there, which I've actually unsharpened. As soon as I got this knife in hand, I literally took that thing to a grinder and I just made it super, super dull. So yes, I'm technically on the edge, but it doesn't actually do anything, so it still works. Also, I don't want this to be a tactical video, right? But let me just point out, to be clear, in a tactical situation, you can stab somebody or poke somebody, and it's not going to do a whole lot. I've been to prison, as you guys know. I've been stabbed quite a few times in prison. The shit feels weird at the time, and it hurts later on. Like, for the most part, you don't even necessarily realize that you've been hit. You just feel this weird kind of a warming / colding sensation, almost like some fucking icy hot on your body. And then you feel like you peed yourself because there's liquid all over your body. That's kind of about it. That's all I really have seen. Afterwards, it sucks. It sucks a lot. Being stabbed is an unfortunate fucking thing. But during, not that big of a fucking deal. So if you actually want to end something, I'm not saying you should, but if you actually want to, things like this that are able to dig in deep and then slash upwards will do that job very, very well. Now, as far as tactical shit, that's it. We're out of here. We're done. Everything else is just about fun. Though, one more thing, as far as tactical, flashlight to the face, blind them, fucking run. I have done that shit far more than once. These long-ass ginger gazelle legs move pretty fucking fast. And there are plenty of times I look around my ass and I think about it like, man, I'm about to get my fucking ass whooped. And I go, ah! And just fucking run. But anyways, the rest of it, we're just talking EDC. But to be clear, that is a simple part of my kit for sure that I carry every single day. So while I try to steer away from the whole tactical aspects on this channel right now, I'm trying to be positive, man, trying to focus on peace, love, and positivity, I can't lie about it either. That's always on me. Now, as far as actual fixed blades that I will pretty much never think about hurting anybody with, I have the Bark River Knives Andagar, which is my favorite fixed blade by far. It's simple, it's beautiful, it's clean, it's ergonomically perfect, and I freaking love it. And the other one is the Chris Reeve that I always forget the name. It's like the Nala or Nyla, or it actually doesn't have it on there. Whatever. This Chris Reeve fixed blade that I freaking love. Cuts so well. Great ergonomics. There is a hot spot for me. It's not anything bad though. Solid sheath. When it comes to a fixed blade, I carry these probably more than anything else, even though I put the sheath in backwards or the knife in backwards. But I love those. Now, as far as different categories, right? I only have one wallet. This is a wallet from EDC Baltic, which has this custom print to it that I actually designed myself. Love this thing. And knife-wise, I mentioned these real quick, but I also carry this knife almost more than anything else. I really, really like the Hinderer Knives Full Track. It doesn't get used very much because I don't use my knives every single day sometimes. But if I just want to carry a knife that makes me happy, I do move to this a lot. And another really big one is actually probably not a surprise to most folks, but it's a surprise to me because I don't really like Spyderco that much, but I carry this PM2 a freaking lot. With the scales, only with these sets of scales, man, is it really good enough for me? Everything else I feel like it has hot spots. These fit perfect. I really, really like the actual PM2. Cuts like an absolute dream. I also had mentioned, where'd it go? Oh yeah. My 8015 custom is also one that I carry all the freaking time. I absolutely love this knife. It can take a beating. For 1 second there, I watched it come at me. I'm like, it's about to slap me in the fucking head. Dodged it. I kind of froze for a second. That's why I stopped talking. I was like, oh God. Oh God. Another budget knife, though, is actually the Kaiser Begletter. The one I use is in my Carta, but I can't find that fucking anywhere. So here's one in G10. Simplistic, clean knife. Doesn't really weigh anything at all. Fits my size of hands almost. It feels pretty comfortable overall. And has some pretty solid edge geometry. Also, I carry the... Wow, that was a fail. Let's redeem this real quick. I carry the Artisan Cutlery Tomahawk in this burlap micarta a lot, dude. This knife, I'm not going to say this knife's going to make me happy because it just doesn't. This is a tool, but as a tool, as a simplistic tool meant to cut and be functional, this thing is phenomenal. It is really, really dirty right now. So, like, the action is okay, but, like, the pivot needs to be blown out or something. And then, of course, last but most certainly not least is the Best Tech Knives Tagata, or still the Tagata have that. I fucking love this knife. I carry this thing all the time when I just want to be happy. Now, as far as when I just want something silly in my pocket, I lean heavily towards the actual Max A Sandstorm because it just makes me happy. It's also a big-ass blade, ergonomically sound. You can do pretty much anything with this knife. Also, if things hit the fan and you pull this out, this is a scary-looking fucking knife, right? It's never happened to me yet. Hopefully never actually does. But from my standpoint, right, if I was a criminal and wanted to fuck with somebody and they pulled out this thing, I would fucking run. Because worst comes to worst, that person's fucking crazy. Maybe they can't fight at all, right? But, you know, if they pull out a knife that big, they're carrying around this fucking monster in their pocket, there's a little bit of psycho in them. Now, let's get to lights. This is the Mech Force... Fuck, I forgot, actually. Whatever. It is a Mech Force. I think it's like the Mech Light or whatever. Mech Army, Mech Force, something like that. Simple little light. I like lights that are clean, right? If they can be programmed, cool. But I want to be able to press a button to have it shine nice and bright, and that to be it. I don't want to have to worry about changing the mode in my pocket, fucking it up, making it into this weird-ass thing. I've done that with a bunch of different O-lights in the past, for example. Somehow the mode will change, and I cannot change it back, so I just sell the light. I'm like, fuck it, I don't want to deal with the shit. Same thing with this. This is basically if I'm going to go out to check out the trash or I'm going to the garage or whatever. It's big, it's cumbersome. If somebody fucking happens to come around while I'm carrying this thing, this will knock someone the fuck out pretty easily. The downside to that being, though, as far as EDC, like that would be weird as hell to EDC, but as far as just an around the house light or an outside light, works really, really well. Again, clean, just press the button, good to go. And this is actually a light that I carry more than anything else, right? I actually do not remember the name of this at freaking all right now. I've had this light for years. I really, really like it. It is beat the fuck up. It has been dropped out of moving vehicles. I'm an idiot. It's been ran over a couple of different times. This thing has gone through absolute hell. Still works, still clean, still beautiful. And I love this freaking light. Now, as far as pens, I either go with the Tie Scribe Bolt or the The Urban Survival Gear Tie Scribe Bolt. I actually don't have one of those right now. I gave that last one to my ex. I never got it back, so it's just gone, I guess. And also the Fellholter Tie Bolt. I'm failing right now. These are two different variations. One is this monkey edge frag pattern that I absolutely love. And the other is this Captain Axel Custom, which is copper that's then blacked out to have this kind of like almost like a lightsaber look to it. Yeah, I'm a fucking nerd. I was like, ooh, looks kind of like a lightsaber. Wom. For a pen, to me, I think it's an important piece to carry. It's definitely a tool. It's definitely, I mean, you could get by with a Bic pen, for example. But if you do want to have a nice pen, those are really, really nice pens that I absolutely love. Now, I touched briefly on Leathermans. I just love having pliers. I think this is one of the ones that I broke off the damn pry tool. Yeah, right there. You can see a nice big gap in there. Because I like to pry with my tools and my knives. And this one I happen to be prying with the actual pry bar and it just snapped. But Leatherman has a fantastic warranty. So if I ever want to replace that, it's like $10 shipping or whatever. And that's it, free. But these are the things that I carry on an everyday basis. I do switch things out on a fairly regular basis. So for example, today I want to carry something big and crazy. So I put this knife away and I carried my Midgard's Viking, which is this big ass fucking monster. But these are the general things and general ass style to why I carry what I carry, why I use what I use, and kind of the mindset behind it. Again, I live in a bad area, so self-defense is always a consideration. But I try very hard not to make it the only consideration, right? Because if you really just dive heavily into that, you get paranoid. And also, I do carry a firearm to be very clear, but I'm a felon, so I don't actually have any guns. But I do carry a firearm as well. So these things are definitely like a secondary defense mechanism, to be clear. But also being a felon, if I shoot somebody, like, where'd you get the gun, Kyle? Where'd you get the gun, Kyle? I don't know what you're talking about. I shot him with my mind. So these are things that I carry, I use. I have not really had to be clear, like defend myself in a while, at least on the streets. And if I did, I probably wouldn't tell you anyways, but you get the idea. These are the things that I carry. These are the things that I love. These are the things that make me happy. And they are also the tools of my trade that I apply every single day. And shout out to EDC Baltic for this damn wallet that I carry every single day. I was one of those guys that I had a whole bunch of different wallets and I got that and I was like, yep, I'm done. To be fair though, it's so fucking small. I lose this like every day. I'm always like, babe, where's my wallet at? But anyways, folks, as always, I love you all. Please take care. And what do you carry and why? And what is your philosophy of use/carry? Anyways, bye-bye.